Hi, and welcome to Yeti at Large. This is a channel focused on making the most out of what you have, no matter where you're at. Thanks for tuning in and helping out. No camping. Oh, you're just getting leaves?
Yeah.
You're not getting the money?
No, not yet. Nope. We like to make sure there's like a little bit more and then we're backing it out.
Well, it encourages people to throw more in, right?
Exactly.
Is it good luck?
Yes.
Do you hate it when they put money in the top thing?
No.
That's okay?
Yeah. I know.
That's just too many. Solon Hannibal Borglum. What an awesome name. It's like the perfect temperature. You can't even notice the weather. It's so perfect right now. I knew Rick Lowe. Good family man. Good peace officer. Just going to a DV call. What a shame. How do we think the galloping goose feels about being next to the bird cage? Notice the goose is running that way. I don't blame him. Hey, Scout. Gotta be honest, you look a little bored. And your pony's ears are on his side. I don't blame you though. I get a little bored if I spend all day looking at a real estate office too. Hi. So we've been all around the square. We're down here in Prescott, Arizona today. Weather couldn't be more perfect. Park is full of people. It's amazing. I wanted to do a quick video on sharing what you can and saying no. The power of no can be just as kind, just as compassionate, and just as smart as anything else. Last night my channel exploded exponentially. I got mentioned on Economic Ninja's channel and it was amazing. I was utterly humbled and crushed by being part of a community like that. I had commented that sometimes you comment and you get lost in the sauce a little bit, and Ninja proved to me that community is stronger than some of the technical hurdles that these platforms can inherently have. It's nice to know that maybe I wasn't born a resident of Ninja Nation, but I sure have a passport now, and I appreciate that. This community, people that have reached out to me, this is exactly the kind of group that I wanted to be a part of. People who are compassionate, resilient, but realistic and braced. Yeah, we're heading into some tough times, there's no doubt about that. And one of the comments out of the hundreds that I received on my channel overnight really got me thinking. And it was an individual who just said, every time I help people, I end up getting burned. And I'm paraphrasing, so if that's you and I don't get it exactly right, I don't mean to misrepresent, I'm just trying to get the spirit of it. And I've heard that spirit before where people like, every time I help people, I end up getting burned. And I wanted to share a couple of things that I had to learn the hard way myself, and that I hope that you listening to this may find that you could use this. And part of that we'll end on is the power of no. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. And if it is no, then say no, and say no early. One of the things that was important for me to, oh my God, they're getting pizza delivered. One of the things that was important for me, I had to learn early on. I have a disposition where I want to help. I want to build, I want to grow, I want to provide. And in culinary arts, that was easy. I ran crews. I built over 51 kitchens in various incarnations and had crews up to 128 people, all depending on me for their paycheck. And it's a lot of responsibility, but it came natural to me. When I got into public safety in 2008, first as a volunteer and then as a sworn peace officer, that disposition that I had wanting to help people, it was very powerful and very useful for me, but I had to learn to put limits on that. The first thing that I had to establish was I had to take inventory of, separate out, and hold what it was that I had to share. How much could I share? What could I give away? And it may not be that much. Sometimes you really have nothing to share. Jimmy Buffett said it best in one of his songs. He said, I have nothing to share, like driving around with no spare. You don't have a good spare tire on your car, you can't be loaning a wheel out to somebody. And so by taking inventory of what it is you have that you can share, doesn't mean you go find the first chance you have to give it away. But you don't give anything more. And for some, that might be a very small amount. We might even feel a little ashamed of how little we actually have to share. But I am telling you, identify that early and put limits on that quickly. If you share something that you can't afford to give away, you're going to likely, it's going to cost you more, and it will dip into your resiliency, and you might walk away by feeling burned. The second part of that is anything that I share, anything that I give away, I give freely. I never expect it to come back. If I need it to come back, I probably am not in a position to share it. Now, a lot of the things that I share are time, effort, energy, resources. Not often do I dig into my pocket and hand somebody a $20 bill. Rarely find myself in that position. Last guy was looking for money on the side of the road. What he really needed was to get that tire fixed. I used the jack of my car. We pulled over, we got the tire. He trusted me. I took it into town, got it repaired, brought it back, put it on his car, and got him on his way. Never gave him any money, but I gave him my time and my effort. And again, I knew that I had that in the bank to share, Covey, that emotional bank account. But when I give it away, I don't ever expect it to come back. Now, if it does, that's a bonus. That's a plus, and I wind up being very blessed by that. I feel very supported by that. Many times I will share something with somebody, and they will offer to pay me back, get me on a deadline, something like that. And many times I'll tell them, don't give it back to me, move it forward. The famous movie, the famous saying, pay it forward. I can't tell you how many times I would be in a position where I'd have to hit a drive-through in a marked patrol vehicle. And the only drive-thrus I would ever hit are ones where I could pull out of it quickly and not get pinned in there. But I would get to the window to try to pay for my food. I always paid cash. And they'd say, the car in front of you got your food. They wanted to say thank you. Very humbling, very flattering. So what I would do was give the cashier my money, and I'd tell them, you give this, pay for the car behind me, and you tell them that I thank them as well on behalf of the people in front. And I went back to a Cane's drive-through one time, bomb chicken strips and iced tea. And I went back one time and I asked them if they remember me, and the guy said, yeah. I said, do you remember how far it went? And he goes, it went many, many cars before it finally ran out of steam. Love that stuff. So know what you have to share. And if you don't have to share it, don't say maybe, don't say I'll get back to you, don't beat around the bush. Say, no, I cannot do that. I will not do that. And I don't mean to be cold, I don't mean to be hurtful, I don't mean to cut you off, but I just can't do that. George Thorogood's buddy didn't want George sleeping on his couch, so he punted that to his wife, and he come out and said, yeah, my wife, I don't know, she's kind of funny. And George knew what he meant. Everybody funny, now you funny too. When all of his buddies said is, no, you can't stay here, man, and I'm sorry, I'll help you with what I can, but that's something I can't give away. And if you do share, if you do support, if you do give it without reservation, knowing that it may never come back, and that way you won't be as burnt. The last thing is that power of no, though. Make sure that if it's a no, make sure it's a no. And sometimes you don't have to explain it a lot. Don't be ashamed if you have little to share. Instead, take a look at the things that you do have, the benefit, the gift, your skills, and really look at those and see if there's a place you can apply that. One of the things that we talk about frequently in public safety is your KSAs, your knowledge, your skills, and your abilities. You all have a lot more knowledge than you can be aware of, and this isn't a rah-rah, go get 'em session, but you all have a lot more knowledge than you're aware of. I dare you all to sit down and take inventory of it. That pizza smells really good. I dare you to sit down and take inventory of your knowledge. And if you see gaps in that knowledge, look for a way to build it. Skills. Skills are perishable in many of the things that we do. If you haven't worked it for a while, they may be perishable. They may not be where you thought they were. But you can always work on refining those skills and improving them. Muscle memory. Remember I said earlier, Bruce Lee was the last person I heard say it, that something needs to be repeated 3,000 to 5,000 times before it becomes first nature. Work your skills. And then abilities. I'm losing the ability to climb trees and do arborist work, mostly because of common sense, because the ground's a long way down there. Those abilities are changing, so I'm looking for new abilities, which is why I'm in here in YouTube. I'm trying to build my knowledge and my skills, and so I have the ability to operate in a platform like this and function. Those hard, transferable skills, and we're going to talk more about that in the future, career change people and stuff like that. I used to tell my squads all the time in our staff briefings, I had very clear expectations, and I'm going to show you guys my printed expectations. Most of the ones I handed out probably wound up in the bottom of a bird cage, but so be it. At least I made my expectations very clear. But on my expectations, I used to tell my squad members, share your strength, work your weakness. You can work your strength all day long, and you may get 1/100th of a second faster in the 100-meter freestyle. And if you're an Olympic athlete or competing scholastically, that's going to be important. But in a real life, applicable situation when things are tough, if you share your strength, you're going to build the people around you up. And if you work your weakness, that one thing that you're terrible at, I'm terrible at typing. I do the advanced 3-finger hunt and peck. I may never get better at that, but every chance I get to work on it, I do. Now that I'm not in public safety anymore, I'm trying to transfer my phonic alphabet from Adam, Boy, Charles, David, Edward, Frank, to a military phonic alphabet, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Fox. I'm trying to change those pathways and reprogram myself a little bit. Might seem really small, but when you're under pressure, the ability to work your weakness can be number one. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for the comments. I got comments from all over the world that really shocked me. I got nothing for love but for my people that are in El División, right by La Nariz, and my folks up in Canada. I gotta move away from the pizza, they're killing me. I think it came from Bill's. I don't know if the glare makes it hard to see. But instead of a pizza, what about a bacon cheeseburger? Harsh, Prescott. Just need a little juice, man. When I was a kid, I was so disappointed to find out they didn't actually have animals. I asked if there was a tiger club. If you don't think you have anything to give or you're worried about getting burned, think about one of these civic organizations. You don't have to get involved knee deep. You don't have to get elected to office, but there's a lot you can do if you pick up the paper. Lions Club, Rotary Club, Exchange Club, Kiwanis Club, VFW. There's probably a half a dozen local municipal type civic organizations. Maybe you have something to donate that you can give these people. Look at the side of the interstate. You can go pick up trash and get involved. Doesn't take a huge effort, just a teaspoon. Just a teaspoon.